Hello, hello,
Good
hello.
morning.
Good morning, good morning, good
Yes.
morning.
Welcome to another edition of Couch Conversations with June and Ayana.
We are so excited that you joined us on this
Super
morning.
excited.
Um, we have some special guests with us on today. And so we are excited that you get to meet these amazing people.
Yes.
We want to also take a moment to just recognize I know some families are dealing with grief on this morning
Yes.
and are having to bury loved ones. And so we want to extend our prayers and thoughts with
Yes.
those families as well.
Yes.
So we're going to jump right in, and I am going to introduce one of London's, well, one of the world's, not really London, because he is not just London, but he's international. So his stage name is JS, and I'm going to add him to the stream. Hello, can you hear us?
Hello, hello.
Morning, sir.
Good
Hello.
Good
morning,
morning.
good morning. Good to see you both.
So JS has gained a reputation as one of the most powerful and significant lyricists on the UK Christian scene. He's a spokesperson to his generation and beyond. His tracks are seriously challenging and thought provoking, documenting his journey and speaking bold truths. We are super excited to have you join us on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
And I also want to add Miss Marnita Coleman. Miss Marnita is a talented and creative marketing consultant, advocate for families. She's an author and a speaker. She is a multifaceted visionary, having numerous successes and victories in her career, her personal life, and her community outreach. At the end of May, Marnita, at the end of the day, Marnita is a lover of God, a lover of mankind, and last but definitely not least, Marnita is a proud mother of two wonderful daughters. We are glad to have you joining
Yes, we
us
are. Yes, we are.
today.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
So we're going to jump right in. The world knows you as JS. I know you as Mr. Sahib, a teacher from
Yeah.
Henderson Collegiate, where I met you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
All right. So I'll go by the name of JS, and I had that name for quite a while now, actually. It's literally my initials. So I got started back in 2005, and I started my Christian journey in 2005 after I got saved, watching a DVD entitled The Truth Behind Hip Hop. That DVD, I didn't actually get saved after watching that DVD, but that started a conversation. And then a few weeks actually after that, I went to church and I gave my life to the Lord. Prior to that, I was doing music, secular music. And so I had to obviously scrap the secular music. And actually, I stopped doing music altogether. And so it was only after I was at a church service, there was like a prophetess there, and she called us out of the crowd, myself and one of my friends, and told us that we were supposed to be doing music. Not sure how she knows, but obviously we can credit the Holy Spirit for that. And yeah, so I started my journey, my Christian journey, doing gospel music and just studying the Bible, just so that I had enough content to rap about. And so that's when my music journey started back in 2005.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
So now you again, I think you kind of hit on this as well, because you could have chosen to go the R&B route. So um, tell
Well,
us, was that experience with the video? Is that what made you go the Christian route?
well, I couldn't. Even if I wanted to go the R&B route, I couldn't go because I can't sing. Terrible vocalist, and so I decided to stick to what I know best, which is rap. I was good at it in the secular world, and so making that transition into the Christian world was a bit tough because I'm so used to listening to secular music and the topics that they have in their music. I didn't know how I was going to be able to incorporate a Christian message in rap music. Knowing like the music that I listen to, I didn't listen to Christian rap. To me, it sounded corny, right? It just didn't sound right.
Right.
So I didn't know how I was going to make that transition. But the best thing that I did was study the Bible so that I had topics to talk about, biblical topics, and also like social topics, and I could incorporate like a Christian understanding to it. And so that's when I started writing. And then there was one artist I actually listened to who blew my mind, a rapper called The Truth. And I saw him on TBN, and he performed one of his songs, I believe it was called The Portrait and The Resurrection. And when I heard him rap, I was so blown away because I didn't know Christians could rap like that. He was just so skilled. I can put him up against any secular rapper and he will stand toe to toe, lyrically, delivery wise, etc. So after watching him, seeing how he was able to piece it together, I studied like him, Cross Movement, Timothy Brindle, Lecrae, all of those rappers at the time that was doing it, and I was still doing it. And I studied how they piece it together, and then I was able to follow suit.
I love it. I love it. Well, you've been a blessing to so many. So that is so wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Yeah, that is. So, Marnita, how did you get started in this?
How did I get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I got started a long time ago. My sister, funny enough, my sister was in the music industry. She was an independent promoter at the time, and we were like teenagers. And she was promoting various independent artists on the secular side. And she would have us to come out into her venues or her events and, bring all my buddies to kind of, be the fan base there. And then eventually she started working in gospel music, became the vice president over at Interscope Records, which everybody knows. And she worked and broke and introduced the Winans. And from there, I started following in her tracks. She went over to Gospel-Centric Records, where they introduced Kirk Franklin. So I got a chance to work with Kirk Franklin, Dorinda Clark Cole, the Hawkins, Walter Hawkins, Tremaine Hawkins. We broke Trinity 5-7, Kurt Carr. The list goes on. And then eventually the Lord gave me a narrower path, and he said, I've introduced you to like the industry. And now I'm going to bring independent artists, people that God actually hand chose or hand picked. And now, because the connections were already established, the relationships in the industry were already established, I would now be able to take these artists, these independent artists, and put them on the platform of major artists because the connections were already there. And so that's pretty much how we got started and launched onto our own path that the Lord directed us to.
Absolutely wonderful. And you have worked with some amazing, amazing people.
Yeah.
That's amazing. JS, tell us some of the people in the industry that you have had the honor and pleasure to work with.
All right. So in London, I've worked with quite a few. So we've got Governor B, who is most probably the leading UK rapper on the Christian scene. Governor B, Faith Child, Triple O, Rachel Kerr. I've worked with Isaiah Raymond from Raymond & Co. I've worked with Lorraine Cato. We actually did a kids theme song for the pandemic. It's entitled All Right. That was released last year. So I've worked with them, and in the States, I've toured with Lecrae. I've worked with, I've toured with Lecrae. So Lecrae is the main one that I've toured with, and I've been nominated on the same award ceremonies as The Truth as well.
Wonderful. That's amazing. And so I do have to say that because you are, you were nominated for several, like the Dove Award, the Stellars, and it's one more. Is it Mobile?
The Mobile Awards. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that is absolutely amazing. I think that's my favorite word. So tell us why faith is so important to you.
Well, my faith is so important to me because it's literally set me on a path of purpose and knowing myself, like just appreciating life, and also knowing God. That has been a journey in itself, and I don't believe you can ever fully like know or understand God. You can understand his ways in some sense, but I think the beauty of having a relationship with the Lord is because he's so eternal and infinite. There's always something new that you learn, and
Absolutely.
just gaining like the wisdom, learning how to love, just finding my passion. It's all down to my faith and everything that I've learned from the scriptures, everything that I've learned God move in my life and in other people's life. And I think it's very important for us not to only look at God moving in our life individually, but also to look at how God moves in other people's lives. And that in itself can be a testimony. You don't necessarily have to have a personal testimony of how God has moved in your life. You can look at other people's lives and you can say, okay, I can see God moving there. I can see God moving there. And that in itself can speak to you. And so, yeah, faith is so important to me. Without faith, I'm not sure where I would be in life, but I'm happy that I was able to, I'm happy that the Lord saved me.
Yes, 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 yes. I think we all have that. Absolutely. So happy. So Marnita, I'll ask you the same question. You could help secular artists, however, and you may, I don't know, but you have chosen the path of the gospel artist as well. So tell us from your standpoint why your faith is so important.
Well, faith is the only thing that connects you with God. You know, without faith, it's impossible to be connected or walk in union with God. And I have worked with secular artists, okay, but it was the gospel industry that God used me in. It was his ordained plan for me. So as we, faith is just simply what we believe. And we just believe when God gives us an instruction and an assignment, we understand it. We believe that his word is true. So what God was showing me, as I was kind of, introducing earlier, that the secular art, the independent gospel artists such as JS and Deborah and Coco and a whole bunch of artists from the UK and from South Africa and from Nigeria, these people are talented, they're gifted. But the main stage for gospel is in the United States. So God chose me before the foundation of the world. He didn't just get up, 10 years ago and say, this is what you're going to do. No, this was in God's plan for my life before Adam even entered into the garden. And so God used me to give an artist like JS the same type of, and I'm going to say respect, okay, and honor that Lecrae gets. I mean, we've played at some of the biggest churches in America under some of the most prominent people. We've played in churches. I think one time it was 12 people and it was 5 of us. And so we've met most of the top artists, I believe, at various events. And we have, of course, you can check out JS's Facebook page and Instagram to see all the people that he's met. But I mean, even secular people, I believe JS and Deborah met Jerry Springer at the airport. So having faith is merely saying, God, I believe you, but you're going to have to help me walk this thing out. And your faith just keeps you connected to God. And as you believe, God will continue to release his plan, and your life will just unfold just as God intended it to. So faith it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, you'll be doing your own thing. And we don't want to do our own thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think what you said, actually, talking about the different venues and stuff, I think it leads us into our next question.
So JS,
Yes.
tell us what you would consider to be your most amazing performance by way of ministry.
Wow. I've had there's so many moments that I can think of. I think one of them is performing at the GL Live back in 2008 with Lecrae. That one was powerful in itself because it was one of the first major tours that was put on in the UK with a featured American artist. And so at that time, I was just coming out with my first album, and I stepped on stage, and the energy from the audience, everyone was just so hungry for the word. Everyone's so hungry and supportive of all the artists that was there, and just stepping on that stage and just feeling the crowd, just being able to minister my music to them and seeing people's lives transform. We actually had one guy who was not from the Christian church, who was documented around that time, coming to GL Live to experience the Christian artist performing. And there's actually a clip of this online on YouTube. And his reaction when I stepped on stage and when I was rapping, it kind of shifted his opinion on Christian rap and
Love it.
Christianity, so that was a very powerful moment, and that was captured on video. And so if you have some time, you can go on YouTube and check it out. I'll provide you the link so you can share it on your platform.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Can I add to that?
Please.
Okay, so my most impacting performance of JS, as my memory recalls it, was at Noel Jones's church. We had to play there a Sunday morning. I think it was maybe the 8:00 service or something. And his performance was so anointed. And what I mean by that was that it was just affecting everybody in the room, that you knew this could not be done by a mere man, that the Holy Spirit had just descended upon him and was just coming through him. And the whole room, I mean, just everybody in the room just got something that particular day. And you could just, it was tangible, the vibe in the room was tangible. And I told him, I said, wow. And what had happened before that, I think we hadn't been on tour in a while, and he had matured. And his performance at Noel Jones's church was crazy. And it was just God doing God through JS.
Love it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So now we want to know what was the greatest challenge that each of you has faced in the industry?
Oh Lord. Okay, Monty, you know where I'm going with this one. Church folk. I wasn't aware. I didn't know about the politics. I just wanted to go in there and give the word. But there is policing of how the word is delivered in the church, and so we literally, Mania had to like convince people. What was it? The pastors, congregation, that this is not your average or regular rapper. He comes with the word, etc. They said, no, we don't take rap in this church. No, we don't do rap, etc. And so certain doors would have been closed if it weren't for Marnita being strategic in her planning. And so I would tour with a singer, and my tour buddy is Deborah from the UK. And so because she sings and I rap on her songs, we will have Deborah go up first. She'll sing a song to lighten the mood, and I'll do my rap in between so that the audience can get a feel of me. And then I will come in with my solo piece. And that's how I was able to really get through on stage with some of the churches in the States. It's like that in the UK, but not as prevalent in the States. So that was the main challenge that I experienced.
Wow. Church folk. All right, Marnita.
Well, can I tag on that real quick as well?
Go for it, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. The thing with church folks is that they're not always aware. And, we're called lambs, or, we're called sheep. And so sheep are dumb. They don't know everything. They just follow the leader. And so if the leader isn't instructing and teaching in that environment, they don't know. So rap to most, or the average church person, church goer, was gangster rap. It was what they heard on, the radio. It was what, they saw on TV. It wasn't the Christian lyrics. And so, yeah, we had to do some education. We had to kind of set up what we call set up the record. We had to set the performance up. When JS would go out, he would have to instruct people about what he was about to do, what they were about to hear. And then the people received it warmly, once he set it up and they understood, wait a minute, this is something different, but let me be open to it. And what people did not know, and they still may not know, that the hip hop community is deeper in the word categorically than your regular congregation. You have to think about it, because these gentlemen and women are studying in the word. They're praying and rapping the word. Okay. Right. They're rapping the word. And the only way you can rap the word is if you know the word. And then they're getting the revelation of the word that makes it effective when it hits your ears. So now you understand what they're saying and you really dig their message. It's kind of like, the Curtis Mayfields, they always had a social issue. And so these rappers are deep. They have spent time in the word. That is spending time with the Lord, as opposed to a preacher. And not preachers, I'm a preacher. And so the preachers, they're getting up and they may take one scripture and then they speak for 30 minutes about it. But these people, these rappers, they live it. They're in a culture where they're honoring the word. I mean, if you go to a hip hop event, you see the husband, the wife, and the children. When you come to the fellowship on Sunday, you might see Big Mama. You might see a husband here and there. You'll see the women, but you don't see the connected family like you do in hip hop. So hip hop has really, it gained a bad reputation, but we went out through JS's ministry and we began to teach people. And it was just things they just did not know about the hip hop culture. And it's true. And the men are accountable. They have accountability partners. They honor the word of God even more in some places probably than your average churchgoer. So we can't just judge a book by its cover. You really have to, get into it to see the lifestyle of these awesome, really minstrels, of the spoken word.
Absolutely.
Well said. Very well said. I kind of look at it like a lot of Christians, like they have like a one-track mind, and it's like they're not seeing the big picture of I believe it was Paul that says, I become all things to all people that I might win some. So because I'm telling you, I love rap music. I mean, Tupac. You can go way back, but when I was transitioning over, I'm telling you, the LaTruth, the Lecrae's, Canton Jones, and JS. I'm telling you, it really helped me. It really helped me a lot, and so I'm telling you, I you have touched so many people because of that ministry. So we have to just keep pushing and then keep moving, and just get past the one track minded people.
And I will say too, even with my son, so I have a younger, well, he's 20 now, but at the time, especially with like Canton Jones, I believe it was like, it was him, and then it was the rap music that was going on, and so I didn't want to play like the rap music in my house, but when we were able to go and have gospel rap, then I was so excited. And so for him to be able to rap, to sing some of the songs and to be able to rap some of those songs, it was really good to have that. So as a parent, I think it's wonderful because the lyrics to the rap music that we hear today, I mean, it's getting pretty rough.
Yeah.
And so to have someone to really, speak the word and my child can memorize those things, I think is wonderful. So I'm really excited about where this is going and where it has come, because it has come a long way. So I'm excited about that from a parent standpoint.
Yeah.
And also, so, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. How has this affected your ability to reach people?
Well, I I see. Well, with music, my music is online, so anyone can access my music at any time from around the world. But what I do on a day-to-day basis, I teach young people, and so that is my ministry at the moment, working with young people in a high school and making sure they get the best education possible. And also I mentor the young men as well in the school. Like I'm using my life as an example to them, and they see it, they comment on it, and they ask me questions, and I'm so happy to answer those questions. Music initially was to reach young people, right? And then what happened is when I transitioned into teaching, which was back in 2018, where I said, you know what, I'm gonna really like focus on my teaching and working with young people. And so when I transitioned into teaching, I was able to impact those young people directly, as opposed to having them, oh, go listen to my music, let me know what you think, etc. I can actually, work with the young people directly, and I feel like I've had a great impact on them by doing that. The pandemic has slowed things down in general, but I feel as though there's other ways that people can be, you can reach out to people. So I'm looking to jump back on music and produce an album, but for now it's literally working with these young people like on a day-to-day basis and helping them get through their education and life.
I love it. And you're doing an amazing job, by the way.
Thank you.
So that is so wonderful. And I'm so glad that they have you, because it's so important, especially when you work with a large Black population, for them to see a positive Black role model, especially a male role model. So I think it's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, Paul said, I become all things to all men that I might win some. There's a population of people out there, young and old. They need your gift.
Absolutely.
So now we want to know who inspires and motivates you and why.
Wow.
And that's for both of you all.
Wow. Ma, you want to go first? Oh, it's on me. All right, cool.
Who
Either one.
inspires and who inspires and motivates me? Um, I would say my daughters. As a as a single mom at this time, um, they inspire me and they motivate me. They believe in me, and they're always like, "Mom, you can do it. You can do this and you can do that." And when the pandemic hit, of course, we know that everybody was on lockdown across the world, and we had to be innovative and creative to keep things going. And so we came up with some creative means to do that. And I would run ideas by the girls, and they would go, "Oh yeah, Mom, you can do that. Oh yeah, you can do it." So they do inspire me, and then they too are young women that are rising stars, so to speak, walking in the things that really the Lord has directed them to walk in. And I'm inspired by their tenacity and their, stick to itness and their determination. And then I have some friends that are spiritual leaders, mostly intercessors. And this is my, arms up to them. These people are the real deal. When it comes down to the body of Christ and imitating Christ, they are the real deal. My one friend in particular, when she expounds on the Bible, I'd be thinking, have I ever read that book? Because she goes so deep into
I love it.
the meaning and interpretation. I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever read the Bible, because the Holy Spirit has really though, and I always tell people about her. I'm like, oh no, if she's ever teaching somewhere, you best be in the seat, because this girl, what the Lord has done in this girl, I know the Lord's about to release her to the world, because what she has inside of her, you have not even heard. And so I believe, and I know I'm kind of skipping into another spot real quick, but we're getting ready to see something that we've never seen before. God has people that are jewels that he's been working on, purging. When nobody wants to go through a purging, but God has these people positioned and they are ready to be revealed. So all I have to say is hold on to your seat, because God's getting ready to do his own thing with these amazing people. And that, those are some of the folks that inspire and motivate me. And JS motivates me. He's always up for whatever. Yeah. I say, come on, JS, we can do this. And he'll say, okay, Ma. He calls me Ma, and he's my son. I didn't give birth to him, but he's my son in my heart. So he's my son, period. He's my son, and he'll say, okay, Ma, he'll listen to me, and then he'll be like, okay, especially if it's relative to, something I want him to participate in. So yeah, he motivates me, and yeah.
Yeah, you have some brilliant ideas. So I love your ideas.
Love it. I love it.
Monita. Okay, so the interesting story. Monita, could you tell them how we met?
Good.
Okay, how did we meet? Okay.
Well, remember we were doing the British Are Coming.
Okay.
The tour. So that started in 2010, and there was a compilation CD in London from Zoe Records, and so there was is a compilation CD of over like 20 tracks, and so you had to choose four. Well, Monita had to choose 4 tracks from the compilation CD, and one of the tracks that she chose was one of my tracks entitled "Too Many Fakes." And
Too many
so,
Wow.
fakes.
so Ma, if you could explain the story, because you could explain it better than I can, right?
Okay, so Zoe Records at that time was an up and coming gospel label, and they wanted to make a mark in the world. And so they knew they had to come to the States to be relevant. I mean, really. And so they recorded this track, this two-part CD. We came up with, something clever. We called it The British Are Coming. Okay, because we figured that would be cute to Americans. It would appeal to Americans. And we had to choose the records that would go, the singles that would go to radio. So his Too Many Fakes made the cut. Okay. And then behind closed doors, the conversations that were being held, amongst the record label founder and subordinates was we have to have one artist, an emerging artist that can really represent. And as we started to work together, JS really showed himself to be that artist. He was the one that was reliable. He was the one that was cooperative. He was everything you would want in an artist on tour. If you have to work with somebody and develop them, you want to make sure that you're in agreement with them on various things and that they are cooperative. Nobody wants to be on the road and fighting. And JS was always open for whatever. And, we would tell him, this is what we're about to do. And he was available and willing and obedient, and that is pretty much how I think we got things kind of started. We set up this tour and JS came to the States, and you can take it from there because a lot of amazing things happened to him when he was on tour. He met his lovely wife. And now we know, they've given me a grandbaby. And so, because they're married, right? And so, yeah. So JS, you take it from there.
Yes. So this happened in 2010. So I just finished university, and so I was ready. When they made a call and said, I'm coming to the States. So upon arriving in the States, my first experience on tour was not a good one at all. And so basically at customs, I got held up at customs, and the officer basically was insinuating that I was coming here to work and get paid, but I wasn't. I was on a tour. It was a free tour. He couldn't understand how I would be on tour and not be paid, and I tried to explain to him as best as possible, but he wouldn't listen. So anyway, long story short, he held me there for a few hours. What was it? A few hours? He held me there for a long time. It felt like a few hours. Marnita was outside waiting for me to come out of arrivals, and I wasn't there at the time. So when I finally came out, she was worried, like, where have you been? I said, they held me up. They kidnapped me. They wouldn't let me go. And she said, oh, wow, because I was getting worried. And so, we met up in, I believe it was New Orleans was the first stop. I could be wrong, but New Orleans was the first stop because we were performing at Bobby Jones Gospel. And so when I got there to the States, she gave me the itinerary and said, yeah, this is how it's going to run. We're going to have a radio interview in the morning. You have to be up at 6 a.m. in the morning. We have to be at the radio station at this particular time. Here's the questions they're going to ask you. Make sure you have a beginning, middle, and end of your story so that you can cut it short. You can have a long version. I have to have everything ready. And so it was a really good experience for me. And that year, we performed in North Carolina at a university called Wayne Community College. And that's where my wife was there at the performance. And
Yes.
we got to talk and exchange details. And then 3 years later, I said to her, let's embark upon a journey. And we did. We got together, and the rest is history. We got married in 2017. And that's what caused me to move to the States in 2018.
I love it.
Very good.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
And New Orleans was our first stop, but we toured in so I believe it's like 22 to 25 states we've done. We did it over a span of 7 years touring. We did like movie festivals. We went to the Merge Summit. We met, what was it, Angela Bassett, her husband,
Of course,
Megan
Kojo.
Wood, Brandy
Oh
was
my
there, um, Tracy Ellis
God.
Ross.
Yep.
There were so many different individuals there. Michelle
Yeah.
from Destiny Child.
Destiny Child. Michelle Williams.
Yep. So
I
it
love
was
it.
that was powerful. That was back in 2013. So we've done quite a lot, and it's all documented. It's all documented. So anyone can go back and have a look.
I love it.
Powerful.
I love it. I love it. So tell us, you mentioned your wife. So tell us a little bit about that. You're married and you have a special, I'll let you tell it.
All right. Yeah. So I got married 2017, met my wife on tour. And at the time we were just friends because obviously she lives in America and I live in London. So I wasn't trying to have a relationship. Not that long distance, right? I can do like a 4-hour drive in London, but to fly over the Atlantic Ocean, and I wasn't really on that time. So I just had her as a friend that was in America. So anytime I would come to America and I was on tour, she would call me at my hotel, and then we would just have conversations. So it was nice to have an American friend. I always thought she was cute, but I didn't say that to her.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't say that to her at the time, but I had it in the back of my mind. So as time went on, we're friends on Facebook. I'll see her post, and my eyes will light up a bit, and I thought, she's nice, she's nice. Let me at least tell her, So I told her. She was shocked. I'm not sure why she was so shocked, but she was shocked. Like, oh, I can't believe it. And then I said, let's embark upon the journey. We did. We did a long distance relationship for 4 years. It was tough, but we pushed through. It was tough, but we pushed through hard times. And one day we'll write a book on it. But it was really tough. And then in 2018, I moved to the States. Upon moving to the States, got the job at where I work at now. And we started looking for homes because the area that we lived in was very dangerous for us to live in. And so in 2019, there was an incident that happened outside of our house. Had nothing to do with us, but we were caught in the crossfire. And so we said, we don't need to be here no more. So we looked for a home. We bought our first home in 2020. My wife got pregnant in 2020 as well, and she gave birth to our beautiful daughter in November. So she's about to be a 1-year-old soon.
Congratulations.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
Yes. So everyone, the children, everyone is just so fascinated by the way Mr. Zahid speaks. And so at work, we often talk about like his accent is I love it so much. It is really great. So in closing, we thank you all for joining us on today. We want to tell people how to connect with you. And so if you just take a moment, both of you all, to share how people can connect with you. And I'll put some information on the screen as well. But if you would go ahead and tell people how to connect with you.
Yeah, you can connect with me on Instagram. It's JS Online. It's one word. On Twitter, it's the same thing, JS Online. And on YouTube, I have a channel, JS TV and JS Online. So you can connect to me on those platforms.
Love it.
That's it.
So Marnita, if there's a local artist or someone upcoming that's interested in the music industry, are you available for that? Or tell us that.
Let me just, yeah, let me tell you what happened to me during the pandemic. During the pandemic, like I was sharing a little bit, how, we had to be creative to stay relative, because everybody's on lockdown. Well, during that time, Holy Spirit began to show me that you're moving more into ministry. Like, get ready. You're going to start I'm shifting you. And I said, okay, Lord, sure, no problem. Woo, woo, woo. And next thing I knew, he said, you're in full-time ministry. And I was thinking, full-time ministry, what am I doing? Well, I've had a parenting ministry for quite a few years. I even have a parenting radio show that, the Lord has really enlarged our territory. It airs every single day of the week, all across the world. And I'm moving more into that aspect of what I do. Now, we did book Anthony Brown this month in the UK at KICC. However, if there are unique circumstances, if someone wants to call, I'll take a call and maybe consult or, see if that's a moment that the Lord would allow me to, give some advice or help or whatever. But for the most part, I'm moving into ministry. I know that JS will be doing a world tour at some point. I will be on that world tour. And so if I have to come out of whatever I'm in to do that, I'll do it. But I know that was something that the Lord spoke prophetically through a reliable source over JS, that we would be doing a world tour. And so God is not a man that he can lie. And we know that his timing is perfect. And I believe that we're all being, we're all being prepared now for the greater works. And so even with this parenting ministry, I teach Bible study. We have a women's group. We're constantly in the Word, in the presence of the Lord. I'm experiencing God's presence like never before. Like I've never been this deep in love with God before. I'm just being transparent. God is real, and he has prepared us, all of us here and many, many others across the world, for this end time harvest. And I'm going to tell you that I'm ready, and I'm getting ready every day again. I'm ready, but I'm still getting ready. And so you can look for those kinds of things to come out from me. But sure, I'll take a call from an artist and give some advice, a helping hand, whatever the Lord would allow me to do for that particular artist at that time. Yeah.
I love it.
Because music is in my heart now. It's still in my heart. I can dig a good beat. I can still hear a hit in 30 seconds. I'm like, this is a hit. This right here is a hit. I know a hit. I can hear it, and so, yeah. World tour, honey. World tour.
You haven't forgotten about the world tour.
World tour. No. Why should I? Because when God speaks, the thing that I know about God now is that he means what he says, and he will do what he says. All I have to do is believe. I just believe. We're going to do a world tour. Believe me. We're going to do a world tour. That's it. As long as we stay in agreement with God, God's going to do his part. My part is just believe it and just keep getting prepared. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know how this is going to tie into that. I don't. But God does. And I trust God. God is everything, everybody. I hope the people really get that. God is everything. I mean, he is your friend. He'll be your healer. He'll be your comforter. He'll be your only friend. I think somebody said, if God is all you got, God is all you need. I'm telling you, the pandemic was really horrific for me, but I'm smiling. I am still in this thing, okay?
Yes. Well, I'm excited about your journey. I'm excited about what the Lord is doing in your life. So we look to hear from you really soon as well.
Yep.
And your show, I did put that up where people could go and connect with you on your show as well.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yep.
Anything else to add, honey?
And
No, just fine.
can I share this?
Yes.
I talk, but with this young man, I guess the takeaway today is to let the Lord lead you, because this gentleman came from the UK. Like I said, God is not just getting up today, deciding what he's going to do for us today. These are steps that God ordered. What is it? Psalms 37:23 says, the steps of a good man are ordered. They're prepared. They're predestined. They're set. They're marked. It was intentional for him to come to the States to meet Marie. And I love Marie. She's my daughter too. I love her. And she's beautiful. She's physically beautiful. And she's spiritually beautiful. And she absolutely has the best smile ever. I mean,
She
like,
does.
perfect. I said, girl, we should try to, market that. But,
It's the
but
truth.
and Olivia, even the name of their daughter, Olivia, is so special to me, because just after my aunt Olivia passed, who was my mother's sister, they gave birth to a baby and they named this baby Olivia. And it was very impacting to me. And it was just God. And so I see that as being God. And I see that our steps are ordered. And I'm here to encourage people today. Let God lead your life. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows the path that you take, and he will do you right. You will not be disappointed. You will not be upset. God has an amazing plan for all of us, and just hold on to it. When he tells you to go left, just go left. Just do it.
Yes.
Just have that radical obedience. Just do it. He knows what he's doing. That's it.
He knows what he's doing. I love it.
Amen.
He knows what he's doing.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Well,
so much.
JS,
Thank you.
do you have any closing remarks you want to say?
Thank you. I mean, Marnita said it all, really. Just echoing, my heart right now. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, everyone. Just be safe out there. Be on your assignment. Be about your purpose. Be about the Lord's business. And, yeah, definitely God will continue to reveal himself in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us on today. We appreciate each one of you for joining us, and all of the people that have viewed it. We thank you for viewing with us on today. So look for us in another month or so with our next Couch Conversations. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.